Today on the podcast, we have a staple in 90s heavyweight boxing, involving some of the most exciting fights, and the true definition and proof that records don't always mean anything. We welcome our good friend from New Jersey, Maurice Harris. Let's get into this.
What's up, Mo?
What's up? Assalamu alaikum. What's good?
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. What's up with this?
Facial hair.
Letting it out, man. Letting it wolf out, man. I'm in my old man state right now.
You and me both.
You know, man. Well, hey, when you finished your career, how many fights did you have?
I think probably like 51, 52, something like that.
Looking right now, 26, 23, and 2. So whatever the math is on that.
6, 23,
50.
Like 51?
Yeah, 51.
52?
Hey guys, please subscribe and smash that like button. And if there's any fighters you want us to interview or anything else, any questions or comments, hit us up. We're here for you.
I was looking over your record today, man. You fought like a lot of the big hitters in that era. Crazy.
Yeah, he was one of them.
He was.
he was one of them.
I just reminded Jeremy that I was at that fight. Remember when you guys did that weird like tournament thing in Jersey?
Oh, yeah, Atlantic City. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That was in 2002. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You want to take
and
a
it
call?
was like 3 rounds. You came in.
Huh?
Did you end up coming in second in that?
No, I won it.
You won the tournament. That's right.
Yeah.
See that, Jeremy? He won the tournament. That weird tournament in Atlantic City. You guys.
He was in it. He fought in it too. He was there. He fought in it.
He fought you.
I forgot, because once I lost,
No, he fought Tony Thompson.
Oh, he didn't fight you?
No, he fought Tony Thompson.
And you beat Thompson.
Yeah.
Fuck. See, Jeremy, I was fucked up. I thought you fought Mo the second time. So you guys only fought once.
Yeah.
Oh, Thompson. Wow, I forgot about him. Did you fight?
Yeah,
Thompson?
We fought twice. He beat me the second time when we fought for the number. I think it was for like the number 2 spot. Yeah, he beat me the second time, but the first time it was only 3-round fight. So
let's back up a little, Mo. How old were you when you first started boxing? Like picked up a pair of gloves?
1991. I was 15 years old.
And what drove you? What directed you? What made you start fighting?
Being in the streets, you know what I mean? Being in the streets and shit, like, you know, growing up in the rough neighborhoods in Newark, you know.
Okay.
Being around the wrong crowds and shit. So that shit kind of like drove me into fighting because I was getting in trouble a lot. I was fighting all the time on the street. So somebody told me, why don't you just go make some money for it?
And you're 6'4", right?
Yeah, 6'4".
I don't know who the fuck was fighting you back then, but okay.
Yeah, I was skinny though, man. I was a skinny kid, man. I wasn't this big, man. It's that age weight right here, but I was only like 205, 195. You know what I mean? Fighting heavyweights, you know.
So when you turned amateur, what weight were you at?
I started when I first walked in the gym. I was 188 pounds, and then as I started training, I came down to 165. I started fighting at 65. Yeah, I was super middleweight.
Wow.
But I turned pro at light heavyweight though.
How many fights at light heavy did you have?
Oh man, I think probably about. I'm probably about like.
I'll call it. Who's
Probably like 4 or 5, maybe. Somewhere around. Yeah, 4 or 5. Yeah, somewhere around there.
Okay. Did you jump to cruiser or you went right to heavyweight?
No, I fought at cruiserweight too. I had when I went to heavyweight, I was still at cruiser. So at cruiserweight, I made it for like cruiserweight. I had about two or 3 fights at cruiserweight.
Right, but you still got.
Jeremy, pay attention. You're being rude.
I got some shit going on.
Yeah,
A lot of shit going on.
Okay. So you had a few fights at light heavy, a few fights at cruiser, and then when you moved to heavy, you just stayed there.
Yeah, I stayed there. Yeah, I stayed there because I was a lot faster than them guys. You know what I mean? So I stayed there. You know, at that weight, but I was a small heavyweight though. I was only 205 pounds. You know, as a heavyweight.
Wow.
What weight did you fought the best at?
225. When I was around, when I started putting on weight, as I aged, you know what I mean, the weight started coming on. So I started training different, you know what I mean? I started like doing supplements and stuff like to keep like put muscle on, like lean muscle instead of, like fat weight, you know what I mean? So when I got up to like 225, because when me and him fought, I was like 205. I was
You were
still small.
he was
He was like 217. I think I was 205. And then but I think by the time I entered the ring, I probably was around like 210, 212, because you know how you eat, like you weigh in or whatever you eat, and then you hydrate or whatever. But yeah, I was always a small heavyweight. I was never a big heavyweight. You know what I mean? Until I got like older, like when I reached my 30s.
so
It's still not a big heavyweight because them guys now are huge.
I don't want no smoke. I'm dumb good where I'm at right now. I'm happy I made it out all right. You know what I'm saying? I still got all my faculties. I'm good. I don't want no more trouble with that, man. They can have it. Them young boys is the way they cut these days, man. These guys is giants.
huge,
There's a
huge.
couple Australian guys that came up to the gym, Justin's gym in LA here, and heavyweights. I'm like, these guys are huge.
Yeah, man. Yeah, them guys is big, man. 6'7", 6'8", 6'9".
It's
Like,
ridiculous.
Because Mo, when you fought, you were taller than most of your opponents, right?
no, not really. Not when I fought. I mean, him, boy, we fought Akawande. Akawande was taller than me. He was tall. I fought this guy named, like, about a few years ago, named Ivan. He was from, I don't know where he was from. Big guy, man. I forgot his. I know his first name was Ivan. He was about like 6'8". And then when I first started boxing real tall guys is when I started boxing with Lennox, because Lennox was bigger than me. I'm only 6'3". I'm like 6'3" and some change. Lennox is like 6'5".
Jeremy used to spar Lennox.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. We was in camp together. We was in camp. We and both was in camp with Lennox. Yeah.
Did you see were you there when Jeremy body slammed him?
Yeah, I was there. I was there. I was there. He
What do you
told
remember?
Jeremy, told him, look, after he slammed him, he said, man, you know who you fucking with, man. That's what Jeremy said to him. Jeremy said, you don't know who you fucking with.
Yeah, but all in all, Lennox Lewis was a really nice guy to us. But I just
Yeah, he was, but you know what he was trying to do, because you was talking a lot of shit to him. So what he was trying to do, he was trying to put on some smaller gloves. And I saw that shit and I stopped. I'm like, oh man.
Oh,
like
really?
you not I said, you're not putting on them little ass gloves, man. You gotta take them gloves off, bro.
Oh,
Like
really?
I took a man, he was trying to slip on some 16 ounces. I'm like, nah, man, you too big for that shit. Like I saw it. Cause I saw what they was trying to do.
Wow.
And I had to box it too, but they was trying to, do some crazy shit to him because he was talking shit to him. So they was trying to put on some smaller gloves. I'm like, oh man, because I gotta box you too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't want to be hit with that shit.
That's what I'm saying. Like you put on them little, and you 250 pounds, you 6'6", 250 pounds. But he was like, it was first it was him. He was the first tall one. Then it came down to the Klitschko's.
Oh, you sparred them too.
Yeah, that's when I started seeing the height difference. Like dealing with that.
You
You
sparred
know
with
what I mean? Both of them. Yeah.
who would you say was better, more talented?
Vlad was, but Vitaly was more tougher.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
That's kind of what people thought. That was
Yeah.
okay. Wow. So what else do you remember from that when Jeremy slammed him? Do you remember?
He slammed him. I just heard the thump because I was in the back changing.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? Cause we come in the gym at different times.
Uh-huh.
So when he was boxing him, I was in the back changing. We had like a little change room, but the ring was like right outside the change room. Change room was in the back.
Uh-huh.
So I was in the back, changing.
Uh-huh.
And I just heard this, and then I just heard this boom. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, hey. Then Jeremy was like, man, you know you fucking with, man. Because I guess, I don't know if he kept, because when Lennox get tired, what he like to do is he'll hold you a lot.
He put his hand on your face.
Yeah, he'll hold you. You know what I mean? He don't jab with his hand fully closed neither. He jab with his hand like this.
Oh.
And it'll poke you in your eye and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like he had little tricks he used to use, but I didn't know why Jeremy slammed him. I just heard it in the back because I was getting dressed to come out and work with him too.
He was playing that old shit with his hand. And
yeah, that's what he do.
Turn his right hand over, and ain't like he punched soft.
Oh no.
Like, man,
yeah, he's one of them. His power was underestimated, but that motherfucker was a big loose. He was real loose, real flexible, strong. You know what I mean? He lifted a lot of weights. A lot of people didn't know, but he was just real loose and relaxed and hit hard because he had real big hands too. Wow. You know what I mean? Yeah, them guys. Yeah. So he was like one of the first tall guys I boxed with. Besides, when I fought Akawande, I was like nearing the end anyway. So
yeah, Jeremy fought.
Yeah, we both fought them.
Did he hit really hard? Because Jeremy, you told me he's one of the hardest punchers you ever were against, right?
Yeah, you know what it is with him? He just a tall, rangy guy, man. He had a good right hand because he caught me with that motherfucker. You know what I mean? He caught me with that motherfucker, and that shit hurt it. You know what I mean? Like, I was just coming off a loss, so I really wasn't really into. Like, my mind was going away from the game anyway because I had just fought Chris Bird.
Yeah.
So and then right after that, they put me back. They put me right back in the ring. I was still trying to mentally get myself back together from that. And then they put me right in the ring with Akawande after that. So it was like after that, then Don King put me on the shelf for about 3 years. And I laid off for a long time.
It's crazy because you have the nickname, which I don't know if you like it or not, but they would say you're the best 26 and 23 fighter to ever walk the planet, because there's some fights that you would look unbeatable, and there's some fights, like you just said, I think your mind wasn't in it. So like what would spark those fights where you just weren't into it?
Just 1 foot in the street and 1 foot in the gym. You know what I mean? Trying to burn the candle on both ends instead of me being like more disciplined. You know what I mean? I knew I had the talent, but it's just the way and plus it was just the calls I used to get too. The offer would be so lucrative. It'd be so lucrative where you just like, you know what? I'm gonna take it. Just like when, like they offer me a large amount of cash, and I'm like, well, I can't pass that up. You know what I'm saying? So come on, because I didn't even know when I was good before I got ready to fight him, I was smoking weed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm on a car. You know what I'm saying? I was young back in '99. I'm chilling. I got a girl right here on my arm.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm smoking weed, and I get the call like, "Yo, you want to fight him?" I'm like, they're like, "Yeah, you want to fight him for $40,000?" I said, "Why not?" I said, "All right, come on, let's go."
And you were Jeremy.
That was my thing.
He was the replacement for Rockman. Was
yeah, I was.
Yeah, it wasn't. You thought it was somebody else, Jeremy.
There was a couple other people that they were throwing the name, and then it ended up being you. Completely different than Rock.
Yeah, for what he trained for. Yeah, it was a totally I mean, that could definitely offset you though. Like if you training for one person, and then you get a totally different style in front of you, that's different. See, I never had that. See how they had time to prepare and get ready for fights like that. It was I say probably about maybe 5 or 6 times maybe. No, I say no. I'm lying. I say like 10 times when I had like a significant amount of time to prepare for a fight, and every time I had time to prepare, I always won.
Wow. What about Holmes? Because I think if I remember correctly, you really did beat Holmes, right? But they gave him the decision. Yeah,
because they was trying to make the George Foreman in Holmes fight, because that was more of a money fight. Here it is. I'm a kid from the ghetto, and I come. I show up, you know what I mean? I had just beat James Thunder, and I couldn't understand. I thought, like, see, this was, I'm saying, like, and plus I had poor management too. See, had I had a guy like Jeremy, had like a Bill Caton, somebody that could really move me and set me on the right track. I had a bunch of snakes. And Jeremy, look, and they were Muslim.
So
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, bunch of snakes. They Muslim. We supposed to be all brothers, and they was just robbing me blind. You know what I mean? Put me in just doing a lot of crazy shit, man. So I'm figuring, okay, I just beat Thunder. Why am I not ranked? I just beat a top ranked fighter that was getting ready to make a lot of money, and I knocked him out of that.
Right.
And then I get paid $15,000 for fighting him, and then go take a fight with Holmes for $35,000, and I just beat a top 10 guy.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? I just be the top 10 guy. Y'all put me in the ring with Larry Holmes for $35,000. He's getting $225,000.
Wow.
And y'all just letting them, you know what I'm saying? Like it was just they just didn't know the game. They was fascinated with it, but they didn't know all the ins and outs. And I was the sacrificial lamb.
That sucks. I mean, Jeremy, when he comes back, he had some issues too. You know, he never wanted to fight at heavyweight. They just thought that was the only division where there was money because he was smaller than naturally than all the heavyweights. Kind of like you, I
Yeah,
guess.
he was. Yeah.
But I mean, would you say that you grew into a natural heavyweight by the time you were in your mid
Yeah,
20s?
yeah. By the time I got when I turned 25, that's when I was more like a full-fledged heavyweight. Like I was more like I was in my 220s, like 225. Then I would come in fights like when I fought the Russian Sergey Liakovich, I was like 227. Like 225 was like my ideal weight for heavyweight because I had a little meat on my bones. I was able to absorb a shot better. You know what I mean? I still had my agility to move at that weight.
I was trying to find. You mentioned the Thunder fight, and I was trying to find footage of it, and I fucking couldn't find footage anywhere. You knocked
Yeah,
him.
me neither. It was on YouTube. They took it off. Like
You
I don't
knocked.
know, but somebody hit me up on Facebook Messenger telling me that they got videos and stuff of it. But if I ever come across it, I was gonna put it back up there. But I can't get my hands on it.
What happened in that fight? You knocked him out. What round?
Seventh. And
And
that was a short. That fight was on 8 days.
Really? Sure.
That was on 8 days. That was an 8 day notice fight.
I
Yep.
mean,
All the fight, like a lot of fights like a lot of the good fights that I had came on short notice.
what about
Like
the
when I
Derek?
fought Derek Jefferson, 5 days notice.
That
Yeah.
fight was crazy. Anybody who's watching who's never seen that fight, watch it. That was
Yeah,
crazy.
that was a 5 day notice, and he came out on top. He caught me with a good shot. You know what I mean? I was exhausted. He was a much bigger guy, and I didn't have that much time to train. I was only 205 pounds. He was 246 pounds. But I was saying for me to be that small or hurt a guy that big, I must have had some decent power.
Yeah,
You
I
know what I
was.
mean?
You also had that
You know,
speed. That's
yeah, but he we had got into it recently too on Messenger over some bullshit. Like
really.
he talking about he talking about 53 years old, he still whoop my ass and all this shit. I'm like, man, you go so I said you must be drunk. Something must be up with you. You know what I mean? You talking shit like I'm only 46 years old, but if it came down to that, I still know how to get in shape and tighten your ass up if need be. But I ain't trying to do that shit no more, man. Like I had my time with that shit, man. It's time for something. I want to see my grandkids grow up. You know what I mean?
How many
Well,
I ain't
children?
got time for that shit. I got 5. All of them grown.
All of them
All of them
grown?
grown. Yep.
Top shelf is what, 30, 20? What?
No, she 20, 27. The youngest
27?
is 17.
Wow. Yeah, my oldest is 30. My youngest is 15.
Oh yeah. My youngest is 17. I got 3 girls and 2 boys, and they all of them got kids except 2, the 2
Oh,
younger ones. But
girl.
everybody's in Newark.
yeah.
I was just at the.
All my kids. Well, one of my daughters actually, yeah, she's at Howard University. One of
Oh,
my 19-year-old, yeah, my 19-year-old, she is sophomore at Howard.
good for you. I was just at the Shakur fight a couple weeks ago. Were you there?
No. I heard about it. I was right down the street from
Are,
it, where it was at. Yeah, I was downtown Newark handling some other stuff, but I heard about it. You know
are
what I
you
mean?
are you cool with Shakur? Did you grow up with him at
I
all?
don't know. I don't know him. I know his trainer was his grandfather, Wally. His grandfather used to work with me for a minute, but that's about it. But I never met him personally.
Oh, okay, okay.
Hey,
Yeah.
so are you doing anything that's around boxing nowadays? You training or what kind of work you doing?
I'm about to start training right now. What I was just doing like maintenance work at a chemical factory, but like, I want to get back in the gym because I'm like right now I'm about 260 pounds and I want to get some of this weight off. You know what I mean? So,
But you are
I
you
want.
or are you just gonna hit the bag for
No,
fitness?
I just work. I mean, if I could get some sparring, I'd get in there. You know what I mean? But I haven't had it. I was supposed to get back in the gym yesterday actually, but that didn't come about. So hopefully one day this because I got a gym in the building where I live at downstairs, like just a workout gym and pool and sauna and all that stuff.
So
So I
wait,
wanted to start with that.
my bad. Just to go back for a second. How many amateur fights did you have?
I went 3-6 as an amateur, and then I turned pro. I turned pro at 17
Okay. So
in '93.
okay, okay.
You had 9 amateur fights?
Non-amateur fights. Yep. I went 3-6 as an amateur. Cause I could every time maybe turn pro, I was around Ray Mercer, Charles Murray, Alpha Cole. I seen how they was living.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait a minute. And then every time I would go to the amateur fights, I would be a walkover. You know what I mean? I couldn't, like, the guys wouldn't show up. I wasn't getting up. And I started getting frustrated. I'm doing all this training and I'm going to these tournaments and they handed me the diamond gloves. Oh, you was a walkover. Nobody showed up to fight you. So since you here. I didn't earn this.
What weight you fighting as an amateur?
I was fighting 65.
65. Oh, okay.
That was my weight.
Yeah, I was fighting 65. Yeah, I was fighting. See, I was skinny though, man. I had a small top with big legs, man. Like I was built funny, man. You know what I mean? But then as I got older, I started, filling out and developing. But I was funny built, man. I was small, man. I was a skinny kid, man.
So, wow, that's. Is there any fighters that you looked up? Like, were you a big boxing fan? And if so, were there any?
Oh yeah, definitely a student of the game. That's how I was able to pick up so fast. But once I started learning the game, that's when I started winning. Because when I fought, let me see, it took me from '93 to 2010, however long that is. 17 years, and I won the USBA title from over Nagy Aguilera in 12 rounds. It took me 17 years to get there.
Wow.
Well, and then after a while, I just got tired because I'm losing. I'm coming back. I always battle back up there, but as soon as I get to the top, something happened. You know what I mean? Because I had like 3 or 4 shots I was ranked. I think the highest I was ranked was like number 4 or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Management and like in boxing is a slutty fucking business, man. So.
Oh, what? Tell me about it.
People like there's no organization that runs us. They're run by a bunch of thieves.
Yes, it is.
We never get our proper dues, and our timelines are either cut short or extended.
Yeah.
Get cut short because you fight a bunch of killers and they kill your career, or you get stretched out and people are trying to make money off you for the long run.
Yeah. That's why I just walked away. Yeah.
What year?
That was like, I think it's been like 4 years now. I think it's been about 4 years. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's been about 4 years.
You were what? How old then? 42?
Yeah, I was up there. Yep. I'm 46 right now. Yeah, I was definitely up there. You know what I mean? I just did it for the money, man. Like it had ran its course. You know what I'm saying? Like I no longer had the desire to want to get in there and compete no more. Cause like when you constantly keep coming, like I fought my way back each time. Nothing was never given to me in the game. I didn't have a silver spoon. I didn't have a red carpet rule. I had no amateur pedigree. I just had the know-how from sitting and watching, a look-see-do fighter.
I feel like you also probably had a tough break because you were one of those high-risk guys. You know what I mean? Because
that too.
You come in the way you can come in, you're going to be a problem.
Yeah, so that's why they caught me off guard. That's why they used to always catch me off guard. But see, me being young at the time, saying, well, you know what? I just won this fight. Let me go ahead and stay in shape. I would get complacent, get a couple dollars in my pocket. Now, had I known what I know, if I know what I know now, then I'd have been a much complete, more disciplined. You know what I mean? More disciplined, and but it wasn't in the will of the law, man. So I can't sit back and cry over spilled milk. I just take it for what it was. You know what I'm saying? And just go from there. You know what I mean? Like I don't sit and reflect on that and just let that get to me. That's just what it was then. Right now, I'm healthy. I'm living a good life. You know what I'm saying? I don't have a want for nothing. Thank God for that. I'm all right, man. You know what I mean? Like I don't have no regrets. You know what I'm saying? Like.
So what fighters did you look up? Like what fighters did you base your style after, if anybody?
Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, I could tell. You had a little young Larry Holmes thing going too.
Yeah, with the jab. Yeah, I watched, but you know what it was? Like I watched everybody. I watched countless hours of tapes. Like when I first started, I was so extreme. I would run in blizzards. You know what I'm saying? Like if it's snow on the ground, I would be out there. Like I was just so, and I didn't know I was killing myself because I would get in fights and I would be tired. And I'm saying like, why am I so tired when I'm doing all this running? But I was overtraining.
Oh.
burning myself out. And I didn't know, like, well, damn, man, you got to take time to rest. Because I didn't have nobody around me telling me that. You know, I just became obsessed with it. You know what I mean? So I would just be doing like extra work, and then I get in the ring and just be tired. You know what I mean? From overtraining, burning out.
Yeah, wow. I mean, that happens.
Yeah.
You would have had better, I guess, management, a team around you, things would have been different.
Yeah. But I watched everybody. Pernell Whitaker, all of '84 Olympic team. I was a big fan of Holyfield. I watched a lot of Ali. I watched a lot of Sugar Ray Robinson. Like, I was really like a student of the game. I watched some of everybody. I took a piece from everybody.
Okay.
And then, you know, Floyd came along at the time, around the time that me and because I was in camp with Lennox, as a matter of fact, when he was getting ready to fight Zelko Makovic. He was from Croatian cat. And I was in Big Bear training with Lennox. He was getting ready for him, and I was the only one up there. Everybody else left. So I stayed. I was the only one there that was able to hang. Everybody else, he was burning them out of camp.
You had a little bit of the defense, a little bit of that, like, I wouldn't say it's like,
Yeah.
you had some of that going on.
I basically more was like trying to emulate Ali a lot. You know what I'm saying? That's why I used to always get hit with left hooks. Like, I was just a sucker for a left hook.
What? So
For
why?
some reason, like, I could. Like, most of my fights, I get clipped with, it'd be left hooks. Like a lot of times, like when I was in the gym, or, you know what I mean, it was just like, I don't know why I should always get hit with left hooks. For some reason. Like, that was just like one of my weaknesses for some reason.
Who would you say, and this is a weird question because you fought Jeremy, but I'm gonna ask anyway. Who would you say was the hardest puncher that you were in there with?
Shit, one of those Klitschko brothers, right?
No, the hardest punch I ever got in there with,
It could be sparring.
Mike Tyson.
Oh, you spar with Tyson?
Oh yeah, I sparred. I was in camp with Tyson for about, wait, let me see. Holyfield the first time. I didn't spar with him none. I just got the sparring partners ready.
Okay.
Let me see. Holyfield 1, I think it was 1 and 2. The first one and the second one. And then I think I did Brian Nielsen, because we was in, I was in camp with Tyson about 4 times, because he fought Andrew Galata, Brian Nielsen, and Holyfield twice.
Damn.
I believe. Yeah.
What was
So
that?
all of them, I'm saying, but there was times I got off on him. Like, I used to make him go home and go to sleep. Because, you know, he used to be out partying and shit. And then if I get off on him, now he want to come back and get some revenge. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, you know how it is, Jeremy. Like, might get off on you that day. You like, oh, I got to get some get back. Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's how it was with him. See, we as fighters, if we're competitive like we are, you get off on me one day, you best believe I'm going to come back and try to get you back, because that's just how it go. So with him, if I get off on him, I send him home with his face messed up a little bit. He'd come back the next day and go off. And he never hurt me to the head. It was always to the body. With 20-ounce gloves on, man.
So, yeah.
20-ounce gloves, punch you in the body with a hook or a right uppercut to the body, and I just take a knee.
Fuck.
One time I frustrated him so bad, he punched me in my hip and dislocated my hip. For 2 weeks, I was walking with a limp. Damn. And they just let me sit. Yeah, that's a hard he punch.
So and his were real snappy and fast, right?
Fast, quick, and strong. Like, he had a lot of brawn, man. I mean, one of the strongest guys. I mean, Lennox was more. Lennox punched hard too, because he knocked me down with a left hook before I threw a right uppercut, hit me with a hook, took a knee. He was more like a sharp, like with his. If you ever look at his punches, like, he threw a lot of quick, sharp combinations, like accurate combinations. Tyson was just that thudding. Like, if he put his whole body in his punches. If you look at the second Razor Ruddock fight, how he was hitting him to the body and stuff, that's how he punched.
Yeah.
That man got that low center of gravity, big, strong tree trunk legs. You know what I mean? Like, it's just built like a tank, man. Hard hitting guy. You never worked with him? You never worked with him before, Jeremy?
Me? No.
Oh man, that was like one of the hardest. I say the hardest puncher. And I never got knocked down by Klitschko's. I boxed Samuel Peters, another hard puncher. I boxed him in the gym. He hurt me, but he never knocked me down. The only ones that ever knocked me down was Lennox and Tyson. out of sparring. I never sparred with Oliver McCall because I heard he was tough too, but I never boxed with Holyfield neither. But those were the two hardest punches. I put Tyson first and I put Leonard second.
Damn. Jeremy sparred Riddick Bowe.
Oh yeah? That's a big dude.
Oh shit, yeah, I did. And Big Bear.
Yeah, that's a big guy, man.
He
Big dude.
was,
I met him. I think I met him a couple times, but I never, got a chance to work with him. You
in
know what I
his
mean?
heyday. He's somebody. So he was the
Yeah,
man.
I heard because he was in an amateur with a couple of my guys from Newark. They knew each other. Yeah, and I think it was, I don't know if it was an Olympic team, Olympic trials somewhere around there. You know what I mean? But you know what? Before I even started boxing, Jeremy, right? I seen you fight Larry Donald. Before I started boxing, it was on CBS. I never forget. I was laying on my grandmother's couch. This had to be about, when y'all fought, 1990?
No, 92 or
93.
93. So if y'all fought then, I was boxing, but I was laying on the couch because I started in 91. So I was laying on the couch and I watched that fight between. I watched Larry Donald too. Like he tried to emulate Ali too, but I watched that fight. That's when I first saw you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the first time I saw you. Yeah, I was young. I was only about 17. You know what I mean? Like 7. That's the first time I seen you fight. Y'all fight. I mean, well, you fight anyway.
Terrible fight for me. Great fight for him. I had everything to lose. He had nothing to lose.
Yeah, that's why a lot of people they want to fight me because they had everything to lose.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Realize that boxing is a business.
Yes, it is.
Later for me, it was later in my life where I realized it was a business, and I was like, I'm almost done. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna make a new run. So I'm like, yeah, whatever. Won a couple, I lost a couple.
So let me ask you something we always ask everybody, Mo. First thing, who are your top 5 greatest fighters of all time, in your opinion?
My opinion? I can go back, man. I can't really say.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, because I got so many of them. Like, it's like I feel bad because I'm leaving some out. You know what I mean? Like, I got a lot, man. It's so many of them, man. Like, you can go from Hagler to Leonard to Rand, Hearns. You got man, you got Chavez. I mean, it's so many of them, man. You got to look at guys like the back in the day, like Henry Armstrong and Sandy Sadler, Willie Pep, and all those old greats like Jersey Joe. It's just too many for me to just say top 5.
Okay. So what about current top 5?
I would have to go current top 5. I would say Spence. I would say Spence. I would say Crawford. I would say on the rise. I would say Jarrett. That's like 3. I think he gonna be up in there with them. And then you got, that's what I'm saying. Then you got the Charlo brothers. It's a lot of, then you got Shakur, even though, a lot of people don't give him his props, but he beat people. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of guys that I like today. You know what I mean? Canelo and them. I like a lot of fighters. I like a lot of the new fighters.
Who do you got, Spencer Crawford, when they fight?
That's a toss up, man. But that's a toss up. But I'm gonna lean towards Earl. I'm gonna go with Earl on this one. I'm gonna go with Earl. Yeah, I'm gonna take Earl on this one.
If they fight,
if it ever comes to pass, I'm gonna go with Earl.
How do you think you would have? What would you have done, both of you guys, with a Tyson Fury, somebody that big? Like, what do you do with something that big?
You know what? You know what? You have to be. You have to really be on your A game when you're going in with a guy like Tyson Fury. You know what I'm saying? I had a chance to box with him, but being as though I had a criminal record back in probably about 10 years ago, I was going to Canada. They kicked me out of Canada. They kept my passport, let me spend the night, and kicked me out the next morning because I had a record.
Oh.
So I was going to box with him. Yeah, I was going to box with him. They paid for me to stay up there one night and kick me out the next day because you got to have a visa. You got to have a visa when you go to Canada.
When was this?
this was like 10 years ago, man, maybe a little longer. I was going to box with him up there. But going back to what I was saying, when you box a guy like when you box a guy like Tyson Fury, man, you got to play chess because he's real elusive to be that big. You know, he's real loose. You know, he's funny build, but he just got a lot of tools. He got the size. You know, he got the eyes. You know what I mean? He's kind of slick. So you have to be in real good shape and play a chess game with him.
Mm.
You can't make a mistake. See, that's what Deontay messed up at. He thought he had the formula, you know, by putting on all that muscle. But nah, you got to be able to box a guy like that. You know what I'm saying? A guy like him, you got to box him. You got to be real active. You got to have a real high punch output. And you got to overwhelm him with a lot of activity, a lot of movement, just in and out, and just all night long.
Yeah.
The way Holyfield fought that big, you know how he fought, what was the guy name? What was his name? The big Russian, like 7 feet?
Valuev.
Yeah, him. The way Holyfield fought him, like you just got to be in and out all night long.
Yeah.
Never give him a chance to set. You know, you just got to be in and out. That's the way I see somebody beating him. But as of right now, it's nobody out there that box like that.
I don't think anybody could beat him.
I haven't seen no heavyweights today that move, that gets on their toes and just in and out. Everybody's just big, and they not saying that they're not skillful, but a lot of these guys that are big now, they're just natural athletes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of them.
It's changing.
Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, like at the gym, I see this big ass Australian dude, and he's not even, he's like 6'5", 250, 260. Like, God damn, heavyweight.
Yeah, they're just athletes, and if they hit you, they will hurt you. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the thing. But you don't see nobody now with like a finesseful fighter.
No,
like in the heavyweight division.
So
who you see, Jeremy? You see anybody as a finesseful fighter, like with a lot of finesse in the heavyweights?
This generation of heavyweights is all blunt, like just like it's not a technique. It's all blunt.
It's no technique. It's just all brawn. Yeah, that's it. That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. These guys today, man, they I don't see nobody. All they wait for is to hit you. Joshua's stiff. What does he have besides his size and condition? He be in good shape, but he's not very skillful.
No.
And the skill level has come down from our generation.
Man, these got, you know what? You know what it is too? And then you got these so-called trainers that think they know the game, but they I mean, come on, like you're not like the small things, the intangibles, man, like the small little things that really will get you over. No, I see a lot of people, like I look at people's feet and how they move, and that's why I can't train nobody, because I don't have the patience for that. I can share from the outside. I can tell you some things, you know what I'm saying? And if you take it, that's on you. But I don't have the patience to be a trainer.
No,
I couldn't be a trainer.
I'm helping a friend out of mine right now, and he's training for his fight. But I mean, like, if he wasn't already an athlete, I couldn't help him.
Yeah.
You know,
but that's what a lot of them guys is today. They athletes. They just big, strong guys. It's athletic guys like Gerald Washington. You see him skillful? What skills do he possess besides hitting you with a big right hand?
Yeah.
What do he possess? Just athletic guy. They transitioning from football to boxing.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just like that big African guy. What was that big African guy? The young guy, I think Ronnie was training him. Your ex-trainer Ronnie Shields was training him. I forgot his name. He wears hair like Deontay with the braids going to the back. Big. He built like Deontay a little. I forgot his name. But I think he got one loss on his record. Real stiff guy, but strong as a bull, and hits you and just puts you down. That's how they fight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's no movement. It's no slipping. It ain't no angling. You know, like a Pernell Whitaker box, you know, like angling and you know, it's none of that. You don't see that too much in the heavyweight, well, at all in the heavyweight division.
Yeah, it's true.
It's the new generation.
It's, you know, the skill level has stepped down a couple steps.
Yes, it has, definitely. These guys, so it's like right now, I mean, the only I mean, I don't know what Deontay is going to do with Helenius. I mean, I think that's a good comeback fight for him. You know, two big guys, but where's the skill level at? Even with Deontay, what'd he do? Prime example. That's a good friend of mine. I box with him too, but good friend of mine. You know what I mean? But what does he do? He sits back. He sits back, and he waits, and just to drop the right hand on him.
How hard was that
If you
right
take
hand?
that away from him, but you notice if you take that away from him, like Tyson Fury did, he bulked up, he wore him out because he don't have no skills of boxing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because see, guys, and plus a lot of fighters these days don't listen.
Yeah, definitely. It's
You know what I'm saying?
a whole nother class, and it's starting with the amateurs. Like these guys, then they're not learning the amateur skills to transfer to professional. It's
Yeah.
get
And then, but when you,
the art is being lost.
yeah, yeah. But then when you look at these with this generation of heavyweights too, like I've been in camp with Deontay, like he doesn't listen to people. Like he does things the way he wants to. He's trying to convert into a boxer, but you notice he did all that training with Malik. Malik Scott is a good trainer. But see, it's not the trainers. It be the fighters. And the first thing that a fighter will do when he lose a fight is he'll blame the trainer.
I mean,
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
They'll blame the trainer and put it on the trainer, just like Mark Breland got fired
Yeah.
for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you blame the trainer? The trainer ain't doing nothing but telling you what he feel that you should do. So how you gonna blame the trainer when you take a loss? Not just him. I'm saying I've seen this over the years, like with a lot. Every time somebody lose, the first thing, because they be sore losers, and what they do, they point the finger at the trainer.
Yeah. That's true.
You know what I'm saying? That's why you see like Miguel Cotto had how many? He had like what? All these different trainers. Like that's. I mean, I tried to stick with the same trainer from the day I started. I tried to. You know what I mean? Until it couldn't work no more because I'm a loyal person, and I think that's what killed me with the game. You know what I mean? Loyalty. But listening is one of the key things in fighting. You got to listen. And if you don't listen, you're going to end up behind the 8 ball. Because there's going to be somebody out there just a little bit better than you.
Oh, there always
You
is.
know what I mean? You know what I mean? So you got to, if you want to cover all areas, you know what I mean? You got to cover every area with this game, man. That's why I figure like I couldn't be a trainer because I don't think the things that I would do, I would take it back to the old school, but with newer, they got a whole lot of new stuff. But I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it because the way I was trained and the things that it took for me to get good or whatever the case may be, I don't think nobody would want to go through that.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, that's why I never put my sons in it because I didn't want them. I didn't want them to get hurt. You know what I'm saying? Even though my son ended up going to college to play football or whatever the case may be, but I couldn't put them in fighting. I didn't want them to go through that. You know what I mean? Because it's like, I didn't want to be the blame for them getting hurt or something happened to him, and he, you know what I mean? And I couldn't deal with that. I couldn't live with nothing like that. So I never put them in fighting. It's a dirty game, and then it's like you got to stay 2 steps ahead of every fucking body. You don't know what you signing. You got to get a lawyer these days. See, I was just going off of trust. If I felt you as a human being, okay, I'll sign a paper. I don't got to read it. But then me not knowing that you're a snake and you just stealing my money the whole time. You know what I'm saying?
To all of us.
Yeah. So how was it with you? How was it with you and Duva in them?
Duva.
Yeah.
The piece of shit people.
Wow.
Thieves. Thieves. Bill Caton. Thief. All
Yeah.
all of them.
I
Thieves.
thought, yo, I'm saying, because I know you was putting out everything, but I'm talking about, bro, like, yo, that body's, yo, I was watching you, man, like, you know what I'm saying, like, you, like, the shit that, like, all them fucking knockouts, bro, like, you don't just get knockouts, I mean, you don't just get knockouts like that, bro, like, you know what I mean, like, I don't give a fuck who they putting in front of you, like, you putting away a lot of motherfuckers, man, and I'm like, yo, this dude could punch, you know what I'm saying, and it was like, I really admired you, bro. Like, you hurt people. Like, when you hit David Bosses with that body shot, bro. Yo,
Yeah.
you fucked him up, bro. Like, yo, no, he did. Bro. I'm saying. And then for me to be getting in there with this dude, I'm like, bro, like, you don't know what I went through, man. Like, mentally, I was
Yeah.
fucked up, Jeremy. I was. I was fucked up. I was out of shape. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, fuck it. You know what I mean? Like, I needed the bread. You know what I mean?
What happens,
But
man?
this dude was hurting people, man. This guy. Yeah, bro. Yo, hats off to you, bro. Like, he was fucking people up. What you finish with? How many knockouts you had? Like 40 now?
35, 37, something like that.
That's damn near more than fights.
Yeah. I don't like
You know what I mean? That's a lot, man. Did you ever win any titles?
Yeah, a couple.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just had the USBA. That's all I had. I held that. I defended it one time against Derek Rossi down Atlantic City, and then they stripped me of it.
why.
Because Kevin Johnson, I don't know if you remember Kevin Johnson, he fought Klitschko.
No.
Yeah, he fought Klitschko. Me and him was supposed to fight, but I was going through with my promoters at the time because he was stealing from me. I found out, and I didn't show up. Like when they called it, my promoter didn't tell me that we were supposed to do it. They was doing a purse. It went to purse bid. You know what I'm saying? And neither side showed up, so they just took the belt from me.
Shit.
Yeah, they took it from me. That's a crooked ass. That's a crooked ass IBF. You know, IBF was crooked anyway. You know what I mean?
Aren't they all, man? Couple
Yeah,
times.
them organizations, man, them guys be crooked, man.
Yeah, they play with us and they think that we don't do anything because it's leaning our way or it's leaning the other way and we can't do anything about it. So shit
Yeah,
happens.
yeah.
All right.
So that's why I'm happy I'm in one piece. I made it out safe because I was just looking at Gerald McClellan fighting Nigel Benn the other day, man. I said just one
Yeah.
shot.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? One shot could just fuck you up. You know what I mean? And it's like I look at a lot of people, man, like a lot of fighters, and you can listen to the way they talk, and I'm like, man, I just thank Allah that was not me.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
You know what I'm saying? Like I just think that's why I don't really have no regrets because I made it out in one piece. Because you never know. You can prepare the best you can, but you don't know what's gonna happen when you get in there.
Mm-hmm.
You may not come out of that motherfucker. So every time you get in the ring, and you got to be willing to die. So every time you get in the ring, you putting your life on the line.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm like, man, I can't do this shit no more. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't. I mean, I had my fun with it, and don't get it twisted for 1 second. I always think about it a lot because it's just us as fighters. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yo, I could still do it. But then in the back of my mind, I'm like, bro, you better leave them motherfuckers, your boys alone. The motherfuckers is big. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not, we as fighters, we don't always feel like we always got it. Like, even when I'm old, I'm going to still say I got it. You know what I'm saying? But I just do it now just to keep the body in shape. That's all I do it for. You know what I mean? That's it.
Me too. Me too. All right.
That's
Well,
it.
I'm out. It's great talking to you. Great seeing you.
All right, man. I'm around, man. If you ever need me for anything, brother, I'm around, man. You got my phone number. You call me whenever, man. You know what I mean? I'm right over here in Jersey.
Thanks for talking.
A couple weeks or so.
All right, man. Hit me up, Jeremy. He got my number, man. You call me like if you just want to talk, man, you could call me or whatever. But my line is open.
I appreciate the love, brother. Thank you.
All right. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. All right, bro.
Peace out.
Peace.
Bell, it sounded